You know that feeling, right? That little pang, or maybe a big one, of being alone. We've all been there. It's just part of being human, and man, can it hurt. But what if? What if that feeling isn't what we think it is? That's what we're digging into today. We're going to tear apart this whole idea of being alone, look at where it came from, and some of the really surprising ways it messes with us today. And maybe, just maybe, figure out how to get a handle on it. Okay, to really get a grip on this, you have to hear this quote. Back in 1973, a researcher named Robert Weiss called loneliness, get this, a gnawing, chronic disease without redeeming features. Wow. I mean, that's heavy, right? A gnawing disease. It's so powerful because it just hits you right in the gut. And for decades, that's kind of how we've seen it. Like it's a sickness, some kind of bug in our system that we need to get rid of. But that's the big question we're asking. What if that horrible feeling, the one we all run from, isn't a flaw at all, but a feature? What if it's not some modern-day problem, but a really, really old piece of survival gear hardwired into our brains? Yeah, we're going to challenge that whole disease idea and look at loneliness in a completely new light.
So to do that, we have to zoom way, way out. I'm talking past our own lives, past even written history. We gotta look at how we, as a species, even managed to survive. 'Cause let's be real, early humans weren't the strongest animals out there or the fastest. Nope. We made it because we stuck together. And for that to work, evolution had to cook up some kind of, well, an alarm system.
And this idea, it changes everything. Think about it like this. Loneliness is just like physical pain. You touch a hot stove, right? That sharp pain is a signal. It's not the enemy, it's your body screaming, hey, move your hand now. It's there to protect your physical body. Well, a lot of scientists now think loneliness is the exact same thing, but for our social body. It's that same kind of biological alarm screaming, hey, your connections are weak. Go fix things with your people.
So the bottom line is, this pain wasn't for nothing. It had a job to do. It pushed our ancestors to go find their tribe, to patch up arguments, basically to do whatever it took to stay in the group. Because being part of a group meant protection, it meant help finding food. Honestly, back then, being alone was pretty much a death sentence. So that awful, gnawing feeling, it was a lifesaver. But, like any ancient alarm system, in our super modern world, it can get its wires crossed.
And this is where it gets, well, kind of weird and totally counterintuitive. You'd think, right, if loneliness is this big alarm telling us to connect with people, it should make us better partners, more loyal, more committed. But some really fascinating and kind of troubling research shows the exact opposite can happen. And this is the puzzle that had researchers scratching their heads for a while. If this deep down fear is all about not being alone, why on earth is it linked to infidelity? Cheating is like one of the best ways to end up alone. It makes no sense on the surface. People who are absolutely terrified of their partner leaving them are doing the one thing that's most likely to make that happen. To understand this, we have to look at the psychological dominoes that get knocked over. Okay, so some really smart folks broke it down like this. Step 1. It starts with something called attachment anxiety. This is that constant nagging worry that your partner's going to bail on you. Step 2. That anxiety snowballs into a full-blown fear of being single, which basically rings that ancient evolutionary alarm bell. And when that alarm goes off, the brain goes into survival mode. Step 3, it comes up with a subconscious strategy, a backup plan, just in case. And step 4, well, that backup plan often looks a lot like infidelity. So what looks completely self-destructive on the outside is, to that ancient panicked part of our brain, a totally logical move. It's a bet hedging strategy. The person isn't necessarily trying to blow up their current relationship. They're trying to make sure that no matter what happens, they are never, ever left with no relationship. It's a really messed up way of trying to protect yourself from what feels like the ultimate danger, being completely alone. All right, all of this brings us to a super important point. We've been talking about the pain of loneliness, right? That feeling that happens to you, that your brain is screaming for you to escape. But there's another way to be alone, a way that's not about fear or something missing, but about choice and even power. And getting this difference is the absolute key to changing your whole relationship with being alone. Think of it like two sides of the same coin. Loneliness is the pain of being alone. It's involuntary. It feels like it's happening to you. It's all about lack. But then there's solitude, and that's the glory of being alone. It's voluntary. You choose it. It's not about what you're missing. It's about what you can gain. It's a state of, restoration.
And the good stuff that comes from choosing to be alone, it's huge.
I'm talking about real, proven benefits. When you intentionally take time for yourself, it helps you get a handle on your emotions, it lets you actually think, and of course, it lets you just rest and recharge. In this world where we're plugged in 24/7, solitude is like hitting the reset button. It's a necessary break from all the noise.
Okay, so if loneliness is this ancient alarm we can't just switch off, and solitude is this amazing tool for feeling better, the big question is, how do we get more of the good kind and less of the painful kind? How do we actually start using solitude on purpose and make it work for us?
Well, luckily, there's a pretty clear roadmap. First off, just start small. Seriously, don't go planning a week-long silent retreat. Just take a 10-minute walk by yourself. Easy. Second, you gotta change how you think about it. This isn't a punishment, it's a choice. It's valuable time. Third, have a plan for it. Decide you're gonna listen to an album or read a chapter, anything but just letting it become time to do laundry. And finally, you have to protect that time. It's okay to tell people, hey, I just need a little time to myself. It's not about pushing them away, it's about recharging so you can be a better you.
So, in the end, we're left with this really interesting push and pull, aren't we? We've got this ancient biology that is just screaming for connection, and it zaps us with pain when it feels threatened. But at the exact same time, in those quiet moments that we choose for ourselves, we can find incredible strength and clarity. The journey isn't about getting rid of our need for other people. That's impossible. It's about learning how to be okay, how to be strong, even when we're by ourselves, if only for a little while.